just taking a step back and getting to the fundamentals of this episode. So COVID, the 2020 election, the civil unrest, and our predictions moving forward.
So I think the tick for tat kind of attacks will continue, especially we really had to worry about if Trump loses and him casting doubt, him saying that there won't be a peaceful transfer of power, which of course everyone else is like, no, there'll be a peaceful transfer of power.
Using his following to contest the election.
Correct. Yeah. There's casting doubt on the election and the results. So all that is very dangerous. So if he does lose, I am afraid of the result of that. I'm almost wondering, I talked to my wife about this the other day. Not that I support this, but
I don't see why you wouldn't see Biden doing something similar.
Like casting doubts on the election. I mean, if Trump wins again, we're still going to have all these, all these protests, all this stuff going on. That's not going to stop. But right. I wonder if Trump loses, if that's going to actually lead to more deaths because of his base. I'm wondering if that's going to be a more dangerous situation if Trump loses because he's been casting doubt on the ballots on the election in whole, the Democrats stealing the election, quote unquote. I told my wife the other day, I'm like, I'm almost wondering if it'd be more dangerous for the American people if Trump loses, just given his narrative and his base. I know a lot of right-wingers that are very vocal about wanting to shoot Antifa members. And that's a disturbing reality.
I don't think you're seeing the other side, though. I think there are plenty of Antifa that would be willing to shoot Trump supporters.
Yeah, we had one right after Kenosha. That's what we talked about. And that's going to continue. But I'm wondering, like I said, if it would be more dangerous.
My largest concern is that Biden's camp is playing towards allowing these people to get further political foothold.
I don't see that.
In Portland?
I don't think I wouldn't agree that those people are Biden supporters.
I think they're Democrats.
I would say they're left-leaning.
Or at least favorable towards the Democratic Party in some way.
I don't see that.
The mayor of Portland is a Democrat.
Yeah.
And the mayor of Seattle, I believe, was also a Democrat.
Yeah, usually with the Northwest and coastal city states, yeah, they tend to be Democrat.
Specifically cities in general are typically left-leaning.
But I don't see, like, if you asked an Antifa member who they support, I would more see them being like, fuck both the candidates.
Well, the problem is that Antifa is a decentralized movement, a collective organization. It's not even like an official organization.
No, I'm just saying, if you ask someone in that crowd who is out there protesting, I don't think they're going to be like, yes, I support Biden.
No,
I don't think. So when you say that these Black Lives Matter, these other people, yes, I'm sure some of them are, but when you hear about the more like crazy violent, the ones that Trump is focusing on to push his narrative, I do not believe that they are Biden supporters.
Well, I think it's less common than social media and the legacy media companies would portray it to be, but that doesn't mean it's not happening too. It's just like there's plenty of instances where the Biden campaign, Kamala Harris, they have catered to these things and then said other things, like the doublespeak kind of.
Oh yeah, it's all a facade. There's no doubt about that.
But if they give power to these organizations, can they really stop them from taking over the party?
I completely disagree that they'll have any power within a Democratic Party.
You don't think so?
They've
already adopted the language.
That's not policy.
It's not policy, but they're saying that it is policy.
That's kind of like how Trump
argues. Like the systemic racism argument. There is systemic racism.
Oh, yeah.
But
Biden's going to continue to enhance that and make it worse. He's not going to make it better. I'm not convinced that he will. Even no matter what he says, I'm not convinced that he will.
I really don't know what Biden is going to do.
I don't either. Like I said, the only good argument is that he's not Trump. That's it. That's the only good argument. I freely and openly admit that. However, And that goes my whole view on a two-party system versus a multi-party system. That's a
Right.
completely other subject.
Ranked choice voting.
So,
Could have had somebody
but
else.
that's
Anybody else.
that's what Trump says about, Bernie Sanders is going to be taking over and the people AOC is going to take over the Democratic Party.
Right.
They're not. They lost.
But Trump did. Trump took over the Republican Party.
Yeah. Because they can bow the knee. With one thing the Republicans are really good at is coalescing.
Yes.
They're really good at that. Whoever their leader is, they can say tons of shit about them into the election, but as soon as they're elected president, everyone snaps in line. 100% support. And that's what we saw for 2016. You can see Chris Christie, for example, like talking shit about Trump all day. Marco Rubio talking shit about Trump all day. As soon as
Ted
he's elected,
Cruz.
boom.
Yeah.
Now they're supporters.
Jeb Bush.
That's over. They no longer discuss it. Trump is God. That's how they see him.